Ghost Recon Wildlands was an incredible game, hugely popular, and had a hype machine behind it before it came out, which was enormous. Now the question we ask ourselves today is that over 5 years after its launch, should you either play it for the first time or come back and replay the campaign again? The simple answer is absolutely. But for the reasons why, we'll go into now. For those of you that haven't played Wildlands before, the general premise of the game is you have your Ghost team. This time they're going into Bolivia to destabilize the Santa Blanca cartel, which is the world's largest cocaine producer. So under Operation Kingslayer, the team go in and carry out several missions to destabilize the cartel and bring stability to the region. If you'd played some of the Ghost Recon games before, one of the main differences with this one is it was the first series to have an open world environment. And this kind of leads me on to my first point of why this game is so good, is for a lot of open world games, the open world seems empty and it's kind of there as a place for you to just travel through on your main mission. Whereas with Ghost Recon Wildlands, you are able to travel anywhere on the map when you want. It's up to you in what order you do the missions, how you do the missions, and how you destabilize the cartel. Now, in all fairness, some of the missions are quite repetitive, but the beauty of this game is the AI is quite smart, the environments are slightly different, so even if you're doing a similar mission in a different area of the map, it can run completely different to the first time, whether that be the weather being different, the AI being different, or even just simply the terrain, time of day. All of these factors come in to give you a different experience for every mission that you do. I think the main thing for the guys that played this when it first came out is if you haven't been back to it since, in 2018 they brought out Ghost Mode, which for those guys that want more of a challenge, this is definitely the mode for you. So in Ghost Mode, you can play it either solo or co-op. Friendly fire is switched on. You're restricted to one main weapon and one handgun. There's real reloading involved in the game, so if there's still rounds in the magazine and you reload, you'll lose those rounds. And gear management prevents the players from swapping into different weapons unless they're near a ammo box. But the main feature, and the thing that makes it so much different, is it includes permadeath. Therefore, if you die at any point in that campaign, the campaign is over. Now for a game as long and as big as this, it adds such a huge new level of things to the game. So whereas before you may have just opted to jump out of a helicopter, parachute into the main base and grenade launcher everybody, now you'll be much more inclined to take the time to recon the area to a much higher standard so that you've got all the bases covered before you then attempt to engage in that mission. For me, this was a great addition to the game. I also think it's something that players want to see more of. That's why we've seen the popularity of other either realistic games or high-stakes games like Escape of Tarkov, Insurgency Sandstorm, Hell Let Loose, or even, the explosion in Battle Royale games over the last few years, where there is a purpose to why you play the game. There is a risk of losing things or a reward of winning something. And I think this mode turns what could potentially have been an easy game, where you put it on arcade mode and just sort of plow through the game, to something where there are high stakes, and if you lose it, you're going to lose all of that time that you put in up until that point in the game. But if Ghost Mode isn't for you, it's still awesome to go back and play it, as I don't think at the moment there's anything on the market that you get a similar experience. In terms of third-person tactical shooters, there isn't any that come to the level of complexity that you get with this game. And I also sort of alluded to it earlier, is that the options that you have in this game are unreal. You're able to change the time of day whenever you want to, but also decide whether you're going to just go all out, guns blazing, to take on the cartel, or if you're going to have a more tactical approach, change it to nighttime, and methodically go through the base, taking out all of the enemies. The flip side to that is you have the option to do both. You go in tactically, you either then decide to destroy everybody from the inside, or you get seen and then you have to resort to the second method and just go guns blazing, or decide again to retreat, let them lose you, and then come back in for a more tactical approach again. Literally, the point is the opportunities are endless. You've got loads of different guns, loads of different loadouts that you can have. You can have 3 weapons at one time. You can swap them out as much as you want. There is a multitude of vehicles that you can have, different types of helicopters, boats, cars, bikes, and all of them give you a different option to carry out when you carry out these missions. Either coming in with an attack helicopter and strafing everybody, or flying high level and jumping out and parachuting in, getting on a boat, coming in from the dock. It's just really awesome, and I don't think you can get an experience elsewhere that's as polished as this. Now, don't get me wrong, it is a 5-year-old game, and it is looking a little bit rough around the edges compared to high-level AAA games that are coming out now. But for the gameplay that you get and the experience that you can get, it's awesome. One of my favourite parts of the game, and this has been a Ghost Recon classic, there's no better feeling in a game where you sync up the shots with the other members of your team and then take out 4 enemies at once whilst remaining stealthy. Now, with it being an old game, obviously you can get it for quite cheap at the moment on any platform that you're playing it on. I'm currently playing it on the PS5 and it looks great on there. And I think you can get it from the PlayStation Store at the moment for about £10 in the UK, and obviously whatever your currency is wherever you live in the world. Which, let's be honest, is awesome that people from all over around the world can all come together, even just over a game like this, and just appreciate each other's work and effort that we put in. I think it's fantastic. Now, one place where this game really comes into its own is multiplayer. If you've got friends that you play with, either on Warzone or whatever you play with them at the moment, and we've kind of hit a lull in the market where if you're a Battlefield fan, 2042 didn't really come out as we wanted it to be, or if you need a bit of a break from Warzone, or whatever game you play, bring them over to this. It gives you a multiplayer experience that you can't really find anywhere else. You all play as a member of the Ghost team and carry out these missions, again, in such a varied way, and you can use whatever tactics you want to carry out and complete those missions. There were a couple of DLCs that came out as well soon after the game launched. Narco Road and Fallen Ghosts. We don't tend to speak about them too much because, especially Narco Road, it was a bit of a shocker, to be honest. I do have a video here of my honest review of that DLC, and you can check that out if you want. But quite frankly, the core game is good enough and has enough additions to it now that you would get many hours of play out of it without getting bored. So yeah, give it a go. If you've got the time, you want another game to play or something to fill the gap, give it a go, see what you think, and enjoy the experience you're going to have with this game. Now, just one thing with me, and the reason why I haven't been posting videos for very long, I have been recently doing my pilot training. I'm just coming to the end of that, and I haven't really had the time to do anything else. I have started another channel about air crash investigations, so if that's something that interests you, you can just pop across there. I'll leave the link in the description and just have a look. I've only got one on there at the moment. I will be putting up more as soon as I can. But thank you for watching this video, guys. Please consider liking and subscribing to this channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.